Television has been lighting up people's homes ever since its invention in the early 20th century. Today, there are around 114.7 homes with televisions, estimated by a 2012 Nielsen report. On average, people watch around 4 hours of television a day, and children watch around 1,500 hours of television a year, compared to 900 hours in school. With all these hours invested in watching television, what are the effects? What kinds of ideas are given to children, and how can it affect their behavior?
The concern with very young children is that as human beings, we have a competitive advantage over the rest of the animal world by the virtue of the fact that we are born with essentially a fetal brain. Our brain gets to develop in response to the environment in which it needs to function.
As our brains develop and we develop a media appetite, the images we see shape our thoughts and behaviors. Barbara Wilson, a professor of communications at Illinois University, has been quoted saying, "Children today live in a world where many of their experiences are mediated by screen technologies." This means that children see violence and sex on television every day, and many researchers and studies have been able to link children's aggressive behaviors, views on gender roles, and desensitization to all of the images they see.
The topic is violence in the media.
So, okay, the Attorney General says there's too much violence on TV, and that should stop. But even if you took out all the violent shows, you could still see the news. So until mankind is peaceful enough not to have violence on the news, there's no point in taking out of shows that need it for entertainment value.
By the age of 18, roughly 150,000 acts of violence will be seen by an average person. These violent acts are hard to escape because they appear in cartoons, commercials, and many different television shows. Abel Meba has studied the different effects of media violence on children, and he says that the impact of media violence on children depends on many factors: what they watch, how much they watch, their age and personality, whether they watch alone or with adults, and whether their parents talk to them about what they see. Throughout childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood, people continually learn more about sex, with media being a major source of information. The average child will have viewed over 14,000 sexual simulations and sexual innuendos over a period of a year.
Rocco. Mrs. Bighead?
I'm gonna get something that makes me look tall. How about another head? Another one? What do I need 3 of them for?
Not only do these sexual images give ideas about sex, but they also help develop gender roles. A man named Kevin Durkin, after research, came to the conclusion that all of the kids that came into his experiment came in with previous knowledge to bear on their interpretation, and that the more sex stereotype television children are exposed to, the more sex stereotype their own attitudes and beliefs become.
Baby videos, unfortunately, are not what they purport to be. They claim to be educational, but there's absolutely zero research done by them or anyone else that proves that they teach babies anything. In fact, the research that we have appears to show that children who watch baby videos have language delays in early childhood. Probably because they don't stimulate the child as much as simply playing would, or interacting with other people, or looking at books would.
So television, and any visual media for that matter, can impact children in many different ways. Whether it's having more aggressive behavior due to violent scenes, sexualized images, stereotypes, and even social issues. And now that visual media in the home has evolved to include more than one screen, parents have to ask themselves, how much is too much? Everyone should have an idea of how the things they watch might affect their children or even them, and distinguish between what ages can watch what and how it will affect each age. Sometimes the best thing to do is just limit the time a television is on and just interact with the world around you.